Hello again. This is Newfoundland and Labrador Studies 2205, Unit 1 on Culture, Section 2, Lesson 3, Video 2 on Geography, the Economy, and Cultural Expressions. The economy of an area's location is often strongly interconnected. Natural endowments or qualities of an area are what first attracted inhabitants. And endowments used to meet basic needs are called resources. Some resources are easily accessed and used, such as soil to grow crops, for example. But other resources are more complex. For example, rocks get in the way for agriculture, so they aren't considered a useful resource for that industry, but they can be used to build, say, fences or buildings, so for another industry, they are useful. Even further to that, a resource such as oil or fossil fuels needs to be processed before they're used. So in their raw form, they are not as useful to a consumer. The endowments that are considered resources will change over time. So here's an example. Beaver pelts. They were very popular for a long time for making hats in Europe. Very warm, considered fashionable. Pelts for the hats came from eastern North America. Reason being is because the resource was plentiful in the area. And also, in eastern North America, it was easy to get them to Europe through transportation via merchant ships and the like. The industry drove Europeans to settle in Canada as well. It was one of the industries that brought people to the area. But this changed in the 19th century for various reasons. But the main ones are this. And it has to do with the law of supply and demand, if you remember from our economy lesson. So the demand decreased because fashion changed. The hats were no longer considered fashionable, silk hats became really popular, but also was because of a decrease in supply. This occurred because of the exploitation of the resource, overhunting, and also because of all of these people settling in the area, and deforestation caused the habitat to be destroyed, so it drove beavers away. You see, in order for a resource to be viable, it has to be cost-effective to be extracted and delivered to the consumer. So how close the resource is to a transportation network, so its relative location, is an important factor in its viability. I wanted to talk to you about geography and expressions of culture as well. Geography can have an effect on how someone sees the world and interacts with it. Natural and cultural elements give people a sense of place. And this geographic perspective comes from a combined experiences of a place's inhabitants and reflects what it is like to live in that location. I really wanted to highlight this photograph. It's from 1885, and what you can see there are some indigenous people, Inuit specifically, and they're standing outside of an igloo, and there are sled dogs as well. This was taken in present-day Nain, so let's bring it up on the map. There it is, all the way up towards the tippy top. If you've never been to Nain, I highly recommend going for a visit. If you're from there, it's a lovely place, and being able to travel up coastal Labrador is a wonderful experience. It's very beautiful, and I hope you get to do it one day if you've never been. All right, so expressions of culture are also affected by a sense of place. Many of our sayings, our stories, our art and music reflect our lives and relationships with the sea, the environment, resources, and features of the landscape. So much of what we consider folk art, folk music, theater based from this province are all connected to elements of geography. So it's time to review. I have some activities for you in Brightspace, including a very nice music reflection that I hope you enjoy. You get a hold of those, do them, and I'll see you next time.